come on, man, what you want? Of course, if they're a couple, if you do this, if they do these things, if they do jiggy jiggy. And he said, jiggy jiggy. I said, what the hell? What do you mean jiggy jiggy? You know, when they have sex on the bed, of course it's shaking and it's making noise. It's not about the bed, it's not broken. Hey, you know, me and my wife, we have very good bed, €700, expensive bed, you know. When we make these things, it's always also shaking. And I was like, and I hit the car behind me.
Oh.
That was parked behind. So I went away, stood out, and watched, okay, did anybody see? And there was one old Greek guy smoking a cigarette, looking at me, shaking his head,
like now,
and telling to me, no problem, go. And I left.
Hi guys, welcome to another brief episode of the Insider Perspective. And you know how we do it. Today is Insider Perspective on travels. I go by name CTDYKCY Papi, and I have in the studio with me a very handsome gentleman. You know how I do it. I leave you to introduce yourself. So, in the studio with me is
Michał. Just to make it easier, just call me Michael.
Michael.
So
you're welcome
great
to
to
the
meet
studio.
you.
Thanks so much for coming.
Everyone today.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you
I just see camera and yourself.
Thanks so much for making it to the studio today. So, I know you've traveled wide and clear across Europe. Have you been to Africa before? Or probably Asia,
yes.
or
but
America.
you need to distinguish between like package holidays where a lot of like Polish people travel to Egypt or Tunisia just for a week to a hotel. They are basically in a hotel ghetto and not really experiencing the real life
exactly
of the of the location where they are. So so I do not count this type of package holidays holidays that I was spending in Egypt or Tunisia. Just basically it's Northern Africa, but let's not count that.
Yeah, but I think they just go because of the tourist attraction. Everyone wants to see the pyramid, so they want to see.
I seen them. Yeah, that was in year 2000.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
When I was you've been to Egypt before, right?
10 years old. Yeah. But yeah, it was like an organized 2-day excursion. From the hotel, they took us by bus to Cairo. Okay. There's some sightseeing of Cairo. I think National Museum. So you
don't see all those package holidays like major ones, but the one you probably travel by yourself to go explore, to go.
This is totally different.
Yeah. I think because they are mostly on.
Because you happen to speak to local people, go to like authentic restaurants.
So which country have you visited in Africa that you majorly visit?
Actually. Tanzania. And that was
Tanzania.
This year, and Zimbabwe 2 years ago.
Zimbabwe?
Yeah.
Oh, Harare.
Harare.
Oh, that's good.
The capital.
Good. That's good.
I regret I haven't been to Victoria Falls yet, but that's still on my bucket list. So I hope to return to Zimbabwe.
You have to.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the capital, also the vibe of the people. I was traveling for business there for my current work. We are organizing an event there to basically touch base with people, especially after COVID, like people need more all around the world, need more like personal meetings. I think especially in sales that works better. So we're hosting such an event in Harare and also meeting people locally. Yeah. We had a local partner there, and I had the luck of, having, people who are looking after me and showing me some nice places. We went out together for a drink, dining. So I was not just sitting in the hotel, in a cage. I really wanted to touch, to feel the vibe of the place, of the country.
Guys, I hope you're enjoying this experience so far. So don't change that, don't go anywhere, because you are still here with Michał. So let's come to take this out. How did you feel? What comes to your mind the first time you got to know you're going to Africa, maybe to Tanzania? I think you went to Tanzania first or Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe first.
Okay, how did you feel? What came to your mind? Like, okay, I'm going out of Europe to Africa.
So firstly, like quite a long journey. I mean, not super long if you compare it to like traveling to Australia, but flying to Dubai, staying there overnight, and then on following morning flying to Harare with a quick stopover in Lusaka.
Oh, Lusaka, yeah. Okay,
Just to like drop passengers and so that extended the whole travel. How I felt before? Well, I definitely felt excited.
Obviously,
something new is coming up, like new place. Well, also maybe a bit of like anxiety, like what's coming up. When you travel to Africa, there's like whole list of things you should be doing before. Like it's highly recommended by the Ministry of Health to get some vaccinations and so on. Yeah. It's a different environment, different place. So firstly, I was hoping that I won't get sick, like no malaria or anything like this. But that was only when I was traveling to Zimbabwe. Then when I was going to Tanzania, this was the second time, I was like relaxed,
yeah.
What can happen? What can go wrong? Something can go wrong always, but
sure, I know.
You don't need to like think about it.
So guys, you just heard. So try to visit Zimbabwe and also Tanzania and other African countries.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you are to visit any African country now, which one is on your main, like the first on your bucket list?
Well, it's not an easy question.
I know.
There are a lot of them, asking me about a huge continent comprising multiple countries with different environmental landscapes. So it's not easy to pick, but I think South Africa would be next.
Why South Africa?
The reason for this is because I really like water sports. I'm really into windsurfing and Cape Town is said to be a perfect location, a perfect spot, especially during our winter. So South Africa.
Were you not in Zanzibar?
Well, I haven't been there, but that became an extremely popular destination.
Yeah, Zanzibar.
Do you know, by the way, there is on HBO Max, well, now it's called Max, on the streaming platform, there is a documentary about Zanzibar now, because a few years back during the pandemics, there was a guy, a Polish guy, who set up like a travel company who was selling travel packages to Zanzibar, super cheap, to all like celebrities, but also like regular, normal people as we are, no celebrities. And it was some kind of scam or like fraud.
Oh, really?
I don't exactly know what happened because I haven't watched it, but I saw a trailer, and it was also for a certain time quite a big story in Poland. Nothing happened to this guy because he was in Zanzibar. Like they couldn't really capture him, and he was also well connected in Zanzibar, originally from Poland. And but putting this story aside, because as I'm saying, I can't say much because I haven't watched this documentary and haven't read all about it. Zanzibar has become extremely popular among Polish tourists in, I think, winter 21 to 22. So like still like pandemics or early post-pandemic time. Like firstly because there were like regular direct charter flights to Zanzibar. So I know a lot of people went there. There were like quite good offers, package holidays. But again, this is package holiday. Like sometimes you just stay in the hotel. You don't really experience the vibe of like local people, local cuisine. You just go to the beach, go to those organized boat trips, snorkeling, maybe kite surfing or something like this. So, well, to your point, it's good that you call this out because Zanzibar is definitely great for water sports, and Zanzibar is also on my bucket list. We're even considering it as a holiday destination, I think like 2 years ago. But because it's like 8 hours flight and my daughter was still small, I was like 8 hours of the kid, small kid might be a bit challenging. So the longest that I traveled with her so far was 5 hours flight.
Which country?
That was Canary Islands.
Oh, Canary Islands. Oh, that's good.
So, well, politically Spain, but geographically actually Africa, right? Because it's just 200 kilometers off Moroccan coast.
Morocco, you're sure. You're right. So, what are the challenges? Like, I know you try to elaborate on all these package travels is different from where you decide to go by yourself, and whereby you can be able to explore the city, to do, not like, this is time to do, we have to do this, and you can explore. So what are the challenges you face as a traveler who have been traveling for almost like more than 20 to 30 years now. So what are the challenges okay, probably traveling within Europe, you might be able to say, okay, this is within my zone, but now down to Africa. Have you been to Asia or America before?
America, yeah.
Oh, you didn't say it.
US.
You've been to the US,
I haven't mentioned,
wow.
But well, that was Hawaii.
Yes.
So US, but
it's
on the ocean.
Yeah.
That was.
So what are the challenges you face, or you think people might likely to face? Because people watching now, some of them want to travel. Some of them probably watching this. Like, okay. He's been to Tanzania. He's been to Zimbabwe. Let me also go to where Michał went to. So what are the challenges that people might likely to face or wish you faced, and you just want to share for our audience?
I think like the main thing is really you need to be open your mind, open your heart, and just you shouldn't care too much about like all the negative things that you read on the internet or some people tell you. Like for example, what is maybe pushing me back from traveling to South Africa like now. Maybe one thing is journey time, but the second that there is like high criminal rate. Yeah. Also, when I was speaking to people in Zimbabwe, they told me when they were flying for business to Cape Town or Johannesburg, they were like, we are traveling to an unsafe place. So for them was like, Harare is super safe, opposing to Johannesburg or Cape Town.
Yeah.
So then it triggered, like a thought in my mind. Exactly. Well, if they say that this is already perceived dangerous, then, well, should I travel there or not? But on the other hand, I've seen so many people traveling there, and you just maybe avoid certain districts, and it's all over the world.
It's all over the world. Yeah.
Maybe
in America,
like you shouldn't
Poland,
be going, and some other places where you can easily walk around. Maybe do not show off with
exactly a lot of stuff.
Expensive camera.
Exactly, some bling stuff
just
like that.
Avoid this typical tourist attitudes.
Yeah.
Just don't appear as a tourist.
Exactly. I overheard you were talking about package trip, and it seems you have a lot to say about package trip. So what do you want to say about package trip as different from other trips probably I decided to go on my own to explore?
Yeah. So I have the luck that I was in the shoes of a person who is kind of like overseeing or selling package holidays.
Oh,
so basically a few summer seasons I was working in European holiday destinations
really?
Greek islands or Spain in Tenerife. So living there for a few months, picking up tourists who bought package holidays from the airport, help being with them on the bus while transferring to the hotel, then organizing like a welcome meeting on the following day, then using this to sell local excursions. And then in one place actually on Corfu Island in Greece where I spent like really 5 months, so really the full summer season from early May till mid-October. So back in 2016. I was also guiding those like day trip island tour, bus tour around the island.
Yeah, then you can be contacted for trips, and you can be a nice old guy.
So I was guiding them, and I saw what people were visiting and seeing. They were just seeing the things where we took them. So we took them to some museum, to some nice spot to view the sunset maybe. But firstly, we were taking them to the places where everyone is there, where there are like dozens of buses with similar excursions. Especially July, August, high season. It's like people are like over flooding these places. And then I was in this place for 5 months. We were working with local companies. We met local people. So we called ourselves reps, holiday reps, holiday guides. So we were learning from locals and meeting with them where to go for food in the night, away from tourists. Sometimes it was not a restaurant which was directly on the seaside where all the tourists go, but maybe 15 minutes drive away from the seaside. Not too many tourists will go there. Mostly locals. Or the locals would tell you, it's a Sunday, 15th of August, a big religious celebration. Firework and the best show is in this and this place. tourists don't know this.
Yeah, sure.
If they happen to be there, sometimes it's by coincidence, sometimes it's because they really don't.
So you're literally promoting the tourist guard and trying to give more strength to their job, right?
Yeah,
so
no, I
if
still
you're a
have,
tourist guard, so more strength to your elbows.
I still have a lot of friends who carry on with this job, and
that's nice.
they living the best life. Okay,
Exactly.
sometimes they work hard because it's not 9 to 5 job, and you also need to deal with complaints.
Yeah,
I had really some weird complaints where local, let's say, hotel owner is not willing to help you. So you're like between two, let's say, big balls.
Yeah.
So let me share a story. So during my first season, when I was in Zakynthos Island in Greece, again spending there 5 months, we had this one problematic hotel. They're super cheap.
Okay.
So people were buying package holiday there. They were paying like, I don't know, back then in euros, like 300 euros, flights, food, shitty food, and the accommodation. And the accommodation was bad. It was run by a family. The father, the husband was really the brain of the whole operation. And he was rejecting every like complaint. So people were like, there are rats running around the corridor. Hey, what do you want? This is nature. There are rats. What do you want from me? Then another story. A couple like in their mid 30s or 40 came to me and listen, we can't sleep at night because our bed is shaking. It's like broken. It's like making so much noise. And then I tell this to the owner and say, listen, can you do something about it? Move them to other room or just fix the bed? And I say, come on, man, what you want? Of course, if they're a couple, if you do this, if they do these things, if they do jiggy jiggy. And he said, jiggy jiggy. I said, what the hell? What do you mean jiggy jiggy? You know, when they have sex on the bed, of course it's shaking and it's making noise. It's not about the bed. It's not broken. Hey, you know, me and my wife, we have very good bed. 700 euro, expensive bed, you know. When we make these things, it's always also shaking. And I was like, and this is really your response that I should give to my guests that they're probably just having sex and that's why there is a lot of noise. And that's how this guy was pushing back on everything. Yeah. Another time, early September, one of the first rains after, in the autumn time starting. Some people from the hotel called me and said that there are raindrops going through the roof and it's empty and it's wet in the middle of their room, or that the water is falling on their bed. What did the owner said? Tell them to move the bed. Tell them to take an umbrella.
Really?
Umbrella in the building?
Yeah, I'm sleeping like this.
What do you want? If it's raining, it's raining. It's wet. This is what it is.
Oh no!
And this guy was really pushing back on everything.
Yeah.
Some girls, also holiday reps, were leaving this hotel crying because guests were really shouting at them. The owner was also sometimes shouting and like, what do you want from me? It is what it is. It's Greece. Relax.
It's Greece.
And that was crazy. I also had a situation when there was a huge delay of a departure flight, and it was on a Sunday.
Okay.
Many people were finishing their holiday, had to work on Monday. There was high season, so the flights, the way the airlines organize them, they fly, in the morning from Bulgaria to Poland, then Poland to Greece. They do several roads a day.
Yeah.
If something happens, then there is like domino effect.
Exactly.
And that happened in Greece, and there was a technical defect. The airline was just telling us there's a defect. Probably your guests will need to stay overnight somewhere.
Wow.
We'll organize the hotel. You need to bring them. But we cannot say if they will travel tomorrow or after tomorrow. And I had to go one time to a hotel already 15 hours after the original flight with like 200 people who were really pissed. Half of them standing with their phones and recording me and just waiting for what I'm going to say. And the only thing I could tell them is like, we are working on it, but we don't have any solutions so far. That was so stressful for me. I almost got a heart attack when I left this hotel. Luckily, they didn't want to let me go. And like, well, you're not sharing information. We have small kids. Or the other guy, I paid for my parking at the Okęcie airport here in Warsaw. Who's going to pay for it? I need to go to work. Blah, blah, blah. And I understand it, but they were like shouting and, they were really pissed. And when I luckily left this hotel, I went to my car. I started the engine. And because I was so like, nervous, I released the pedal and I hit the car behind me.
Oh.
That was parked behind. So I went away, stood up, and watched. Okay, did anybody see? And there was one old Greek guy smoking a cigarette, looking at me, shaking his head,
Like now.
and telling to me, "No problem, go." And I left.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, that was a plastic bumper. Like you couldn't see anything on that car, or maybe something small.
Oh, probably the owner is watching now this video.
I hope not. I really apologize. I was extremely stressed on the day.
Okay, let's dip it down so that we can round up because of time and in the studio. So I know you had some experience too. I want you to just put everything all together in Africa because I think this is more of the Europe. So any funny moments in Africa you would like to share within like 1 minute? So then your recommendation to our viewers who want to travel to Africa.
Be careful with US dollar bills. So I went to an exchange office just next to my office here in Warsaw. I need like, I don't know, $500. I got them in my pocket, landed at the airport in Harare. And just before the baggage claim, you had to pay like, I don't know, 30 or 40 bucks for the entry visa. I took out the money. The lady is looking at it. Sorry, I don't accept this bill. And then I thought that maybe she meant that this is $100 and she doesn't have change. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll pay by card, or I think it was possible. So I fixed it. Then after I got into the hotel, there was a big guy who helped me with carrying the bags. So I thought, okay, it's would be nice to give him something. So I gave him a $10 bill. On the day of departure, so really 5 days later, when I was already heading to the airport and getting to the taxi, the guy, and he was like big, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, came to me and, listen, the tip that you gave me, we don't accept this money in Zimbabwe.
Really?
And at that time I already knew, because I realized somebody explained me in a grocery store also that there is like some bills that are printed before the year 2000 are not accepted in Zimbabwe and also in many African countries. So when you go to exchange in Europe, just make sure if you travel to Africa that you get those US dollar bills that are printed after the year 2000.
You can hear that, okay?
Maybe it's incorrect, maybe not, it's other year, but just look it up. I had one note printed in 1993 and it was not accepted.
Yeah, I think it's too far. So the guy took the bill?
No, like eventually he gave it back to me because he said it's useless, and I apologized because I was running out of cash. But that was awkward. That was really embarrassing, and also lesson learned for me in the future. The other funny story, actually, I was in Tanzania on a business conference, and just I ran from a booth to a conference room, and all of a sudden I hear a lady. I think she was local because it was majority was from Tanzania. And just a random question behind me. Are you married? And I was like, wow, that was really direct to the point. Not losing time for introductions.
No time to check time.
No bullshit small talk. Directly to the point. And I was like, sorry, once again, what's the question? Are you married? And I was like, not, but I have a fiancé and engaged. Okay. And then I was like, are you married? No. Do you have a boyfriend? No. Oh, okay. Now I see. Now I understand. Okay. Thank you. And that was all.
That was all.
But in terms of efficiency, I think she had a really good strategy.
Yeah. Any other story? Because I'm really enjoying your story.
Well, yeah. So back in 2020, March 2020.
COVID time?
Just when it started.
Oh, yeah. Don't tell me you were locked down outside Poland.
I was. A few months before COVID, me and my fiancé, we bought something what we thought is gonna be our trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Like relatively cheap tickets to Hawaii, and we went there. Well, end of February, we heard some stories that in China there is some virus, but it was like far away. No risk for us. So we traveled to Hawaii. We spent some time on Oahu, so the island Honolulu, the island with Honolulu, and then like 8 or 9 days on Maui. When we were in Maui, I was like reading a local newspaper every day, and I already saw something that there is this virus is already hitting Europe and the US. And then back then, US President Trump, hopefully never again.
No, I didn't hear that.
Banned all the flights between Europe. So I entered my reservation, and the original return flight was like Honolulu to San Francisco, San Francisco to Munich, Munich to Warsaw. That disappeared. The only remaining part was Honolulu, San Francisco, and the rest, like it never existed.
Damn.
And we were like, what are we gonna do now? Like, well, what's going on? So it was 12-hour difference. So we were calling our parents on our mornings and our evenings, and they were like, stay there. No, maybe come back. No, maybe better stay there. The island is isolated. Maybe it's safer. So we were getting different perspectives, different views every day because the situation was evolving very dynamically. But on the other hand, we are like, okay, let's continue sightseeing the plan that we had. We rented a car. We are enjoying the trip anyway. But then, we met some Canadians in our hotel, and a lot of them were like rushing to quickly come back because back then their PM, I think Justin Trudeau, announced that they will be also cutting the flights between the US. So there are like 3 days left to come back.
Yeah.
So that also triggered some thought in our minds, like, okay, what we gonna do? So what I did, I started looking up for jobs in Hawaii because I already had a plan in mind that maybe we need to stay there for longer, but we couldn't afford to stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
So, but then I was thinking, under Trump administration, me as an immigrant, no way you get a legal work permit. I was there just on a tourist visa, which is valid like, 90 days. And after 90 days, you're a criminal if you stay in the US. So I was already searching for some jobs on, the pineapple plant place.
Yeah.
And there's some website, actually, I think it's called Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms, where you can look up opportunities where the farmers offer you that they give you accommodation and food, and you work for them like, 15 or 20 hours per week. So there were some jobs to cut pineapples. So physical job, but the guys give you accommodation and food.
So you're looking at that option already.
Yeah, I was really considering it. Then at certain point, we even got on a call with the US embassy, like the counselor of Poland in Hawaii. She had a really funny accent, like something between Polish and US. And the only advice she gave to us was like, hey, come on, stay in Hawaii. There is some virus going on. Stay in Hawaii. Hawaii is cool. And I was like, okay, but hotels are quite expensive here. Like, how are we gonna like make it with accommodation? Are we even allowed to legally rent something long term? And how much would it be? And then, we started inspecting it, and it was like in Honolulu, $2,500 for not a big apartment somewhere in Honolulu. Okay, close to Waikiki Beach, so quite a fancy location. But we were like, still, it's a lot. So we would need to start earning money here in the US. And then after all, the Polish airlines like launched some like emergency flights, which were super expensive, but it was they got like monopoly for a certain period. They were offering them from Chicago and New York. So we bought new tickets to get to New York, and then we took this emergency, one of the last really flights from US to Warsaw. And then I was locked under lockdown. It was my 30th birthday, and I was locked in the apartment. And the police guys were calling us and asking me to go outside from the balcony to show that I'm in the apartment. I'm not living it. So at the beginning of the pandemic, they were really strictly checking it. And one time they called me. I was just after shower, still wet with a towel, and I said, they were saying, so according to our records, there should be two people here. Two of you, please go to the balcony and just wave your hands. And I was like, I'm half naked. No worries, just your hands. That's all we need to see. So, that was my experience with coming back from US.
Thanks so much, Mika. That was funny, and that was, I know then it's going to be really horrible and crazy one, you and your fiancé. But today, it's all history and all stories for our viewers to enjoy. So thank you so much again.
Thank you.
We call it a wrap.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, guys.